So Adobe Marketo Engage announced their MCP server, and it's got a lot of people excited, and I'm excited to even go through some use cases that I've been leveraging it for. But before we get into that, I think it's helpful to know what is an MCP server and what does it actually mean. So MCP actually stands for Model Context Protocol. What an MCP server essentially does is tell an LLM what to do or what it can and can't do. Just to give some context, historically, when we wanted to query Marketo Engage or any sort of database that had an API connection, we're making an API call from another system. So this has to be a structured call, a lot of details around what I'm grabbing, what I'm getting, how I'm using it, those kinds of things. What an MCP server allows is for something like Claude, which we're going to see here in a moment, to go into Marketo and act like a person. You possibly have heard the term headless. It's kind of a similar flavor of that, but that's what an MCP server is intended to do, that you can access and use Marketo leveraging your LLM. So naturally, the next question becomes, well, what's the best use case for leveraging your MCP server? I like to keep it short and sweet, but I think my personal opinion is it's twofold. So the first thing, if you're an experienced practitioner, you could probably get a lot of use out of it since you understand how Marketo Engage is structured. Things like cloning programs, adding images, sorting, setting up folder structures, creating smart lists. Those kinds of things can be done from the LLM as well. But what I think is a better use case, or maybe a use case that makes more sense for someone who's not as familiar with Marketo Engage, is the fact that you can query the database and ask it any question about any person or any sort of report. That's really the cool part that I think is super valuable. And to layer on top of that, another thing that's really nice is the fact that you can also query that same record across tools. So if you have someone in your marketing automation system or your CRM, imagine a Marketo Engage Salesforce environment, I can find out from my LLM, from Claude, what's happening in Salesforce, what's happening in Marketo, and get a beautiful readout of that data without having to dig through a bunch of platform-specific things. But with all that being said, I want to show you exactly how this looks inside of Claude. So right here, you can actually see my Claude screen. And the first thing that I asked was, can you access Marketo Engage and give me all the details around akonde@gnwconsulting.com? So this was a very simple prompt that I ran. I used Opus 5, I believe, as my model inside of Claude to give me an output. And you'll see right here as we pull it up, the very interesting output that I was able to get. First thing, I think it's great that it called out, this is my own instance, and it called out a few things that it knows it's me, right? But what's interesting is that one, right off the bat, it identifies my person ID, tells me when the record was created, gives me the import or the program that I was created from, and then it gives me the headlines, the breakout. So my name, my title, my LinkedIn information, my score, what I did to actually arrive at that score, my Salesforce lead ID, the things that would mean the most to me if I was someone asking this question. Then you can scroll down a little bit and see two things that I'd flag is around how I was brought in, and what it gave me as an output was actually a markdown file with even more detail. So on the right-hand side now, you can see this Marketo Engage full person record with all of the details associated to it. So all of my form activity, all of my download activity, everything that I would have got scored on, my acquisition and CRM detail, my compliance flags, if there's any, things that are unique to me, the top pages that I visit, my form fills, my program membership and event history, dynamic chat interactions, my email engagement. I mean, really, I have just about everything that I would need to understand this record at a high level within Claude, asking my LLM and getting a better output, honestly, than even if I was to go in there and dig myself, because a lot of this can't really be summarized. So is the Marketo MCP server valuable? Absolutely. Is it exciting? Absolutely. But it might not be for the reasons that you exactly think. I'm on the fence if there's a ton of value right now, at least, around using it for the layman user, someone who's not a diehard practitioner of Marketo, to do things like email. I don't think that's the use case right now. I think the better use case is to leverage it to inquire about records, reports, data points, cross systems, not only within Marketo, but in your other systems as well, around shared records to get these beautiful outreads. This is also something that if you're on the MOps team, it's going to alleviate a lot of those questions that you probably get that are like, hey, this person said they unsubscribed and they still got an email. You won't have to jump into Marketo and dig through it anymore. You could just ask your LLM. Now, the next question might be, is this open and can I get access to it if you don't already have access to it? There is an open beta. I'll try to find the link and put it in the comments if I'm able to. But this is something that people are getting access to right now, experimenting with right now, and being able to do some really cool things. So 1000%, I would encourage you and say, hey, check it out. I've also included an article in the comments below as well that dives more into what is MCP, some of the things that I've been saying on this video as well. I hope you enjoy it. I hope it's valuable, and I hope to see you using the MCP server for Marketo Engage.